Hey guys, welcome to today's vlog. Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today I'm going to be talking about how to construct the ultimate guitar practice schedule. Yes. Sorry if my voice sounds a little deep. It's early in the morning, but I'm really getting into a new routine since getting back from vacation. I had a lot of time to think about my goals, and there's a lot of things on the guitar that I want to get better at. So I'm constructing a brand new regimen, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that in case you want to try to construct your own new practice schedule. So I think the first thing to decide is how long are you going to practice each day? And I do mean each day. I think the most effective practice routine is if you can commit to practicing at least every day, whether that's 15 minutes or 5 hours. Consistency will always yield improvement, and while you should be mixing up your exercises that you fit in, the consistent nature of training your fingers and your mind is very important if you want to get better on guitar. So for me, I'm going to choose an hour and a half of practice each day, and I normally practice about an hour to 2 hours every day, but sometimes what I actually get accomplished in that amount of time is not ideal. So I'm going to set these categories, and I'm going to take a picture on my phone and set it as my background. I'm going to have a post-it note on my computer, so I'm never going to be questioning what to do. It's going to be right there in front of my face, so I can't ignore it. So now that I've decided how much time I'm going to spend practicing each day, I need to break that time down into specific categories for practice. To do this, I'm going to take a page out of Steve Vai's book. He wrote something called Freak Show XS, and I don't know if you can purchase this or where you can find it really. It was part of a Guitar World article initially, and then he kind of revamped it. It's exactly what you'd expect, and I think the headline is like 30-hour workout or something. I don't even know what that means or how it could possibly make sense, but it does in Steve Vai's world, I'm sure. But I'm going to take the framework of how he breaks down his practice routine, and then I'm going to fill in what I consider to be exercises that will contribute to me achieving my own goals. So here's what my hour and a half of practice is going to look like. So with an hour and a half, I'll have about 15 minutes for each of these categories. Now I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, that's 2 hours. What I'm going to do is throw out 2 categories each day and just choose 6 of what I'm feeling like that day. And I'm never going to skip a category more than one day in a row. So say one day I'm going to do exercises, scales, sight reading, theory, songwriting, and ear training, and skip chords and improv. Then the next day I have to include chords and improv and choose 4 other categories to fulfill that hour and a half that I'm aiming for. Now here's where I can get creative. I'm going to choose exactly which exercises, which scales, which chords, what type of theory, what I'm going to be reading, songwriting, improv, obviously that's always going to be different. The ear training, I'm actually going to practice piano. So there's a lot of different ways to spice this up and have variety, because if you just repeat the same exercises and stuff over and over and over again, A, you're going to go insane. B, you're going to have a limit to how far you can go and how much you can improve, because you're just running the same type of thing over and over. So you have to kind of confuse your fingers and confuse your mind and always be changing things up and really stretch your boundaries and get the most out of your time you spend practicing guitar. So I'm not going to get too far into the weeds on exactly how I'm going to fill out these categories, because honestly, I haven't really decided that yet, but I'm going to show you a couple kind of pillars that you can dive off from. So for exercises, I know I want to get better at alternate picking. I know I want to get better at sweep picking. I know I want to get better at legato. And I want to get better at hybrid picking. There's a few scales that I definitely want to get better with. I'm really going to end up pairing chords and sight reading together because I'm already pretty good about constructing chords, but it's really being able to recall them in a musical situation that I need to improve on. So chords and sight reading are going to be a little bit of the same beast. Ear training, as I mentioned, is going to be all on the piano. I'm going to essentially open up page 1 of a piano book and do 15 minutes every time that I choose to do ear training. The 2 books I'm going to be using for sight reading are called Reading Studies for Guitar and Melodic Rhythms for Guitar. On top of that, I'm going to find music in my very large catalog of sheet music and jazz standards to read from as well. The most important thing about sight reading is that you have to always be mixing it up so you don't memorize the melodies and the rhythms that you're reading. Otherwise, you're just training muscle memory instead of your sight reading skills. If you'd like to purchase the books that I'm going to be using, I would love it if you click the link in the description below. It's an affiliate link, so I get a kickback and credit if you buy the book from that specific link. I highly recommend these 2 books. They are awesome. The notation's really easy to read. It's constructed very well. It's the staple book that all the music institutes recommend as well, so you don't have to take my word for it. But definitely grab those books if you are planning to try and delve into sight reading. Theory is kind of a broad category, so I'm going to use it for the intents and purposes of learning new arpeggios and triad shapes and understanding how to apply those in a live setting or in a songwriting setting. Songwriting and improvisation are pretty self-explanatory, I think, so that is it, my friends. I'm glad that I was able to show you how I'm going to construct this. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing an hour and a half every day. I've decided the only way for me to continue doing Music Is Win is to really become proficient in all areas of the guitar, and I feel pretty comfortable in certain places, but there are other areas that I definitely need to improve, and I need to be a master of my craft if anybody's going to listen to me and keep watching these videos. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out what I do from day to day. I'm going to be doing some live video kind of Q&A stuff later on this week because I want to get your feedback on how you're enjoying these videos and what I can do better and how I can interact better with you guys. So if you have any comments or suggestions about my practice routine or any kind of exercises that have really helped you, please post them in the comments or send me a Facebook message. I'd love to hear from you guys. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.